Hi, welcome to the FW website and our conversations. Nalayak, Adharmi, Durachari, Prashtachari, Bol sorry. There, I have finally fulfilled my dream 29 years after watching Jaane Bhi Do Yaro, the cult classic that has given us immemorable memories and made us laugh again and again and again. What makes a mad film like this a cult classic? Kundan Shah is here amongst us to talk to us about his film and his entire journey. It's an honor having you here, sir. So, how do you feel before, 30 long years, when the film was released the first time and now with the re-release? What do you think is the difference?
Well, first, we didn't think it will get released, first release.
Right.
Yeah, because those times the films were made and were not getting released. Most of the NBC films, or they would get kind of a functional release as a morning show, in Liberty or this place or that place, something like that. So when we made it, we never knew that this film would get released in a way. See, you can say Art Satya got released.
Yeah.
But I don't think you've heard of Par getting released or you've heard Albert Pinto, Usakmamata getting released. But they were released, on a very token level. So that freedom we had when we made Jaane Bhi Do Yaro, that we thought we'll get a kind of a perfunctory release and film will just bypass. So that freedom was very important. Then we could do whatever we in fact made the film to fail. We took all the risk. Took all the risk and said, okay, at the end of it, what? Nobody's going to see the film, so why bother?
Yeah, so basically you felt like you had nothing to lose, so let's do it.
It was that kind of a thing. So
that was the spirit.
The very fact, I think the credit must go to NFDC and the scripting committee which sanctioned the script like this, which is very difficult, really very difficult to imagine it on paper because the dialogues have been written by Ranjit Kapoor and Satish Kaushik. And first time when I was narrating it to them, it was so I was getting totally. I thought I better not make this film, But they were very good, And Ranjit was very good. He kept on encouraging. He saying, yeah, very nice. Go to the next scene. Go to the next scene. Once we had thought of casting Aparna Sen, she was the first choice as a narrator.
Alright.
So when I was narrating it to her, and I'm a very bad narrator, but this film is more difficult to narrate, and she fell asleep.
So, she actually fell asleep?
In most of the narrations, even today, people after 5 minutes start yawning. And it happens, not only in my narration, but because things are there, like that. And this film was very difficult to narrate. What do you say about two people talking on the phone in the same room and how do you do it?
Yeah.
And the coffin scene and things like that. So, we had that freedom, that was good. Because when we went into it, we had kept 4 days of rehearsal, which was very less. And it was in Ravindra Natya Mandir, which is in Bangalore, and which was almost free, So we kept it like a shooting shift, 9 in the morning to 6. And Nasir and all the complete cast was there. But Nasir made us read the script again and again, which was not my point, because we had read the script earlier with everyone.
Yeah.
I thought we'll start enacting the scenes.
Right.
And then I would get to know the mise-en-scène, in each scene, how it is going to be, performed, what the actors are going to do, what we can do to bring out the things. And it didn't happen. We kept on reading for 4 days. And I think everybody was afraid to tackle it, or they said, let's see what happens. And nobody, believe me, nobody enjoyed the shooting at all. No, you can't ask a single person from cast and crew who can say we enjoyed shooting Jaane Bhi Do Yaro because of that. We never knew we were going to make this kind of a funny film and which would get a re-release.
Yeah. But
I would give credit to, I think, a certain kind of sincerity to all the nonsense in the film, and without diluting the
inspired nonsense.
Yeah, inspired nonsense. Without diluting it, and And I think at least being honest, because we should have been well prepared when we went on the set.
Yeah.
Because we had 45 days to complete the film. So we should have been very well prepared. But we were not well prepared at all. And because then the problems started coming up. There were a lot of production problems. Forget that, the creative problems of executing scenes. But everybody was kind of getting on each other's nerves and probably saying, let's finish it. And in that process, everybody did it with certain conviction.
A little about the conceiving stage, because we are talking on the writers forum, so I'll be asking you some more on the writing aspect of the entire script.
I had written 2 scripts by then before I attempted anywhere else. And one was a part of a curriculum in the institute.
Okay.
So, and nobody was serious about it. Nobody took that assignment seriously because everyone believed the diploma film, 20-minute film which you made. But part of the curriculum was writing a feature film script. And I managed to, I know I wrote a lot of nonsense to finish it, because I couldn't finish it, but I put the end to it, that script, and I gave it, and nobody read it also. I'm sure nobody read it in the institute. But it gave you confidence, you see, that is what is important. It gave you a confidence where I knew that 1/3 of the film I had just written all nonsense. I had, cheated on it. But because of that, there was a kind of a reputation I had that I finished the script on. Maybe most of the people didn't write, or maybe they wrote, I don't know. But I think I was one of the very, very few who took it as an assignment. It was an assignment, no marks, nothing.
Yeah.
So there was a film being shot at that time, Utsav.
Yeah.
With Shashi Kapoor as producer and Karnad as the director. There were 2 of my batchmates, cameramen, Sunil Sharma and Rajan Kothari. So they were part of that unit, and they came one day, we met and they said, see, Kundan Shashi Kapoor is looking for a script. So you write something. No, I have not met Shashi Kapoor. They also, I don't know why they said it. तू लिखना, तू लिखता है ना, तू एक स्क्रिप्ट लिख दे और देखते हैं आगे. तो मैंने वो स्क्रिप्ट लिख दी. It was a thriller. It was not a comedy. It was a pure thriller, but psychological thriller and social message and things like that. It just I now went to Shashi Kapoor, but I must thank him without meeting him because there was a script on my hand.
Yeah.
And then that time NMDC was FFC, Film Finance Corporation. So they had their first scripting competition. First scripting, and I had a ready script. So I just sent it in. And fortunately I got a 3rd joint prize.
Oh, okay.
So that was how, it's very important to gain confidence as a scriptwriter, and you have to write anything you should write. Said Miller tells me the best way to become a writer is to write. But there are major blocks in the head, always. So I was writing another script. That script did sanction for production. All the prize-winning scripts, the writers said that we will now make them into films, and NFDC, FFC will produce. But I didn't want to make that film. So I said no, they were giving it as 35mm. That's where the Masi Sahib, if you have heard of this film, television, Arundhati Roy's husband, and Godam, and all these films were made under that scheme. But I didn't want to make it, so I said, no, my film is very visual and I need 35mm. And I knew they would not give me 35mm. They said, we can't give you 35mm. I said, okay, then I'll write on the script. So they say, okay, you write on the script, but then you don't get the advantage of this. It will go through the script committee. I said, okay. So I had that goodwill. You see, that's what I'm trying to say. And then when I was writing on the script, a friend of mine, I think, we had formed a commune that time. When we passed out from the institute, the struggle was very grim because there was nothing, there was no television. In commercial cinema, Manmohan Desai had 17 assistants, Rishikesh Mukherjee had 17 assistants. First 2 were paid, the rest were not paid. Which is there because it was a whole different kind of a process. But one thing institute gives you probably false confidence or correct confidence.
Dreams.
that you don't have to assist anybody to make your film now. It gives you that confidence. I'm not saying whether it is right or wrong. So we knew that we don't have to assist in those filmmaking. So we needed to make our mark. So we had formed a cinema commune, a kind of a cooperative society. And we had all cameramen, editors and all. And we made Hyderabad into the base. Where things went very grim. There was no money for breakfast, lunch, dinner. We were staying at YMCA. And finally everybody abandoned the ship. But two guys stuck to it. You know, one Mr. Ravi Oja was from the direction department, one Rajendra Shaw who is from editing. And the struggle was so grim that they were doing industrial photography, still photography, like, you know, literally taking small camera without reflectors. And they'd opened up a photo studio. So one day Ravi had come over. I was working on another script and he had come over and we spent the time together. And he started talking about how things were going wrong there. But in saying that, we were all laughing. You know, it's when you talk of sometimes your struggle and sometimes how bad luck and all, and you describe certain events and you know, all that thing starts getting a very funny color. You know, when you're looking back in the flash, when you're going through it is very grim. When you're talking in the retrospect, it starts getting very funny. So whole night we were laughing. We were laughing on our own misery. So next day morning I got up and I said, Ravi, this is inspiring me and I want to make a film. So that's how the two photographers came in.
My guess.
But the rest was planted from things which were happening around. What actually, frankly speaking, my inspiration was what he told me, and one particular incident which happened in his life. I thought that was very good and I tried to put it in the film. But frankly speaking, what happens if you start doing organically, normally I've seen that what inspires you normally goes out and the seed only remains. So only the two photographers remained and everything else what got into the script was not their story, but what was happening around me at that time, which was the bridge falling and cement getting rationed.
Gutter?
And gutter because I was a secretary. I used to live in a building like this. And it was a cooperative society, all are called cooperative society, all the buildings. And I was a secretary, it was an honorary job, but our gutter inside the compound, you know, it was leaking into the water tank. And that, you know, and it was my job to get it corrected. And the cement was rationed and I went to there was a regional rationing office in Dadar behind Koinur Mills. And I went there and I couldn't get, and all that frustration and thing went into the film.
Okay, the anger and all.
I was basically a very angry film, but made funnily, that's all. I always believe that you write it from the need. Even Kavya Kavina we wrote very fast. First when we tried to write it, we couldn't crack it. We spent over a month and we couldn't crack it, so we left it aside. And one day we got a breakthrough. You know, like breakthrough in the sense we were seeing the film in a kind of a top angle point of view, you know, where we were looking at Sunil trying to Anna and Chris trying to Anna, and the angle was like this. Then suddenly one day we got a brainwave and we changed the angle from top angle to protagonist. So Sunil became, it's almost his point of view film. And then that loser thing helped us, you know.
The character.
Yeah, the character, you know, his point of view. The film is almost his point of view.
Yeah.
So that then we cracked it very fast.
Okay.
So I always believe that stories are not so important. Actually,
You mean the main story, the treatment is more important, you mean?
No, it is. You see what happens every time you have a choice. You can't decide now where do I take these two photographers. If we rescript generally, not in today's time, but I'm taking it. So what actually happens is you are taking things from your life and then weaving them in. So when I was going through this, there was Antule thing going and I knew there is this builders mafia was happening, and so you brought in builders, and I had certain anger with the kind of yellow journalism which was creeping in through Stardust and all that. So Stardust has just started probably around that time. So all that anger went into film, and so the editor came in and the builders came in. And then because that is what I want to say, you see. So it gets, this could have been a very different kind of film. But always, from then onwards, I've always believed that how you want to see is always dictated by what you want to say. So at every point of scene, you have a choice of doing it this way, that way, and there's only one way of doing it.
Right.
And that one way is what you want to say determines what.
Yeah. So it was very clear that what you wanted to say came through in the end, the whole, because the film becomes very powerful because of the ending.
Not ending, it is just that, you see what I'm trying to say, let us take Kabina Kabina. Now, it is very important what is the film about. Normally, they tell you scripting, there should be a metamorphosis, from the beginning to the end. From beginning the character there and then the transformation of the character. But my character was perfect. My character Sunil is a perfect character, you see. He's got a lot of drawbacks, but his poetry is so good, the way he lives his life. Because the way he lives is more important than where he wants to reach. That's what Father Vedanta also says. I think what he means is journey is as important as the destination. Or maybe more important. So what I'm trying to say is because it was a character film and we knew that we wanted to keep him as he is in the beginning to end. So it was very clear in our mind that he can't get the girl. You see, there was a lot of kind of discussion pre-release and post the film, post making the film, that no, he should get the girl and this and that and all. But I said, no, he can't get it. It is not. It is written. In the very first scene, it is there that he can't get it. Can't get her. She doesn't love him. So how can he get her? But the whole film is still of his love for her. You see, that is what it is. So that's what I'm trying to say. If you are clear what you want to say, then it becomes easier to make your choices as a writer. In what kind of scenes you do.
Okay.
Secondly, I also believe that there is a kind of a close scripting. These are my terminologies. And there is open scripting. Now again, it springs from what you want to say. Close is, let's say, it's more, I will not call it dramatic narrative or something, but the point is that you are, the character conflicts are so important that they govern the screenplay. Let us take Sholay. It is a very clear-cut conflict between this Gabbar Singh and Thakur, and then these two guys are incident. They are, now that is a conflict. Now because of that conflict, you see what happens, you get into territories which are very dramatic, no doubt, but very somehow probably known things, in the sense that you get into very, I will not use the word cliche, but very standard presentation of emotions. But that is because that is what is the intention. So the film doesn't say anything. What is Sholay trying to say? Probably there is a message, but the basic thing is that it's a revenge saga. There is nothing more. But when you want to say something, the same revenge saga can become more than revenge saga. You are now stepping out. That's why I always believe that a comedy should be more than a comedy. A thriller should be more than a thriller. A family drama should be more than a family drama. Because then only it will touch life. Sholay is a great film, but I'm just trying to say the distance. Now we compare, you take Bicycle Thieves. Now because the intention is very different, the format is the same. Again, he has to find a bicycle. The thief here, the bicycle thief, is Gabbar Singh, kind of. But the dramaturgy is not there. There's no, they meet the thief and fights and all. Because what they want to say is very determined what they are doing. And that's why it takes you into spaces which you have not seen before, or which you will rarely see in any other film. Let's put it that way. Like, because again, like the whole church scene, where they follow that old man who had been talking to the thief. So they go into that church. Now the idea is that the filmmaker and the writer both want to explore the whole futility of the church, That's why they are taking that whole route.
Right.
And imagine where they have no tomorrow and they are so desperate to get a bicycle, and they'll end up in a fantastic restaurant, where they almost are going to spend a major amount of their fortune, I know something.
Right.
But you will never get that if you deal the film on a very dramatic level. You will never get, because it is a very gratuitous scene. What does restaurant scene achieve? It achieves probably nothing, but it is so beautiful because the film goes into such areas which you don't expect. So it's more like an adventure, those films become like adventures. That's why even Janavadero, I made it. Kind of think like that. Even Kamina Kamina, you do it because you are not because you're not following the conflict of characters so strongly, that then you not get into those scenes. Though you may do them very brilliantly. Though your portrayal of the scenes in a narrative, dramatic could be very nice, fantastic. But because you're not exploring the standard, character conflicts, your film takes you into a different thing.
Different areas. Like in Janavadero, the scenes are really long, but they work brilliantly.
See, there's a bridge.
Yes.
What happens before the bomb scene is that they come and tell her that they found the body. They show the photograph. She asks them where's the body, and they say, "Oh, हमने छुपा दी." They just lie at the spur of the moment. Then she blackmails Tarneja, and Tarneja invites them for dinner. Now they go, so see the bridge it is going, see the way it is going. So they tell the body is hidden, then she blackmails Tarneja, he invites her for dinner, for negotiations and money and all. She takes Vinod and Sudhir and she makes another lie, and then the dinner scene. And post-dinner scene is very important because dinner happens. The post-dinner scene is where they come to know what the reality is. That she is just like others. And she says, what is your price? Because they think they are lying, that they don't have the body. Things like that. Now, see, the important thing is that the dinner scene, if my dinner scene collapses, the whole bridge collapse ho jata hai. 3 scenes here and 3 scenes here, and this is a very crucial scene, or revelation of a character. But if dinner scene doesn't work, and there is no content of dinner scene except stupid comedy, you see. Now it was so crucial as a script writer and as a director, instinctively, if this scene fails, then you have bad taste. Oh, the bomb scene didn't work, what is nonsense. Suppose that scene didn't work, I had no choice, you can't reshoot. But that will, with that bad taste, will create a lot of question marks where her character is revealed. In the sense that you are not in a good frame of mind. Here, because of the bomb scene, you are in a very satisfied frame of mind. So that way, as a scriptwriter I knew, and as a director I knew that it is so crucial to make this scene work. The absurdity of that scene to work. And it was a very absurd scene. He invited them and he's going to blow them up or something. And I said, oh, cigarette and all that. But as a director, I knew that if this scene fails, I will have a major problem. So the scripting, that thing was very important. So again, as a scripting device, sometimes intuition works, sometimes you can't answer. I can't answer whether the end works or not. Because there was a lot of question marks earlier in terms of aesthetic level, not the content level, like Marxists didn't like the end of Janavadero because it would be more positive. But I said, I'm not here to make a propaganda film. I'm here to state reality, and it is a positive if you import it on correct level. It is not being spoon-fed. So the end, we had to take a jump. It is a jump, you see. At the end of the Mahabharata scene, and then when they are on the road, the idea is that we are all in jail and we don't realize. It is not Vinod and Sudhir, that though they are in prisoner clothes, the idea is that the whole society is behind jail. And we are all going through the same fate with these two are going. So now how do you convey that? So it was a jump kind of a thing. So whether it was correct or not.
It was, of course, you know that.
Yeah, I know, but you see, when you're shooting it, you are taking a big risk. And everybody says, what is this? How can they be in jail clothes and walking on the streets? And what is this? But then you are going into a kind of a different thing. So their intuition, if it fails, it fails. And it fails also. It can fail. So this thing happens.
So that confidence, but still, of course, you had, so you you went up?
Even in Kaviya Kavina, we knew that love affair is not important because, frankly speaking, it's a character film. We knew that it is a character film and the climax should be character climax and not a love climax. See, that's very important. So as a script writer, the love triangle is just the backdrop of the character.
Right.
The character has got a lot of meat.
Yes.
He lies, but he lies with a good heart.
Yeah.
His best friend, the priest's best friend is him, this rascal. He gives him love. So all that's why they have been put together. At the same time, the Don, one side there's a priest, one side there's the Don.
That was a fabulous track.
So the Don is also a great fan of his. So we put this character and we knew this is a character film. And that's why it needed a character climax. It was not a love climax. Because love, there was nothing, you see. That girl loves the Chris, what am I going to do? So then we said, okay, there's a forged mark sheet, and then, so it became a character climax. And the song, the Bela song.
Yes.
Let's put it this way, there's an in-box way of scripting, it is out of the box. Because if you don't do out, and what dictates out of the box is what you want to say. Because without what you want to say, I think in a film like Bicycle Thieves, you won't get a scene where they are in a restaurant together, which is very superfluous. It doesn't add anything to the film. See, content-wise, dramatic narrative structure, it doesn't. But it's the most beautiful thing. I'll give you another example. Paigam. I saw it as a child with Dilip Kumar, Rajkumar, Vejati Mala, Motilal, big names, and very dramatic. The introduction of Dilip Kumar is that he's under a lamppost and reading Mahatma Gandhi's autobiography, My Experiments with Truth. So that is a way on level it. But what you remember of the film is one scene, as a child I had seen it, between Vaijayanti Mala and Dilip Kumar. So they are already in love and they are just in a garden. And they are sitting and she asked that, was there any girl before me in your life? And he said, no, you are the first one. And he said, no, but there must be somebody in school, this, that. And because she keeps on insisting, he now invents a great love story, which is a 5-minute, one single take scene. And so, and there are more takes, but same axis takes. And where she falls in her own trap. Basically, the comic concept is that she lands up, because she asks him question, he now starts narrating and it turns out there is a great love affair he has had, which is purely bluffing. And she keeps on getting more and more jealous. That is the scene. But if you go to see in the dramaturgy of the film, it adds nothing, you see. You can just chop it off. But it's the most beautiful scene of the film. One of the more moments you remember. So I always like to go for, in a way, superfluous that way. You take out telephone scene, what will happen? Nothing will happen, I'm telling you. You take out Mahabharata, what will happen? In comedy, and more so, there is a problem. One is indulgence, where content ends and indulgence begins. There is a major problem. Because there is no answer you can give. And this is the problem with this kind of script. In dramatic narrative, you can say, no, this doesn't fit, so it goes. But in this kind of thing, it is so difficult that you don't know whether it is the dead body is an indulgence or it is content. Whether the showing them in jail clothes is an indulgence or content. And that's a risk you have to take.
No, that was very much content.
No, what I'm trying to say, it's a risk you take. I've done so many other films like that, where you can end up making mistakes, but you have to take those risks.
Like which one are you regretful of, any particular one?
No, there was one particular thing in Kaviya Kavina where the Albela song which you are talking. What happened is that I had conceived a character climax scene, as I said, and when the priest speaks for him to the father, he says, you understand? He says he had the courage to confess in front of everyone that it was a forged mark sheet. So you must understand him, please try and understand your son, that it is, he's a very different kind of a guy. For him, life is more important than, journey is more important than the destination. All these things he says. Now when priest speaks, the father has to get convinced. That is how I had written. The father gets convinced. But in the film, what happened, and then the song was song of celebration. So when I went to Majru Sahab told me, no, this song there is nothing. I said, no sir, this is a very important song because they are celebrating this character. He said, no, there has to be tension. So then I had to go back and revise it. I had to revise it, and I said, okay, even after the priest speaks, the father doesn't get convinced, so he's leaving the house, and then the song happens, and the song, basically. So then but what happened in the graph, I was playing in the mid-range in Kaviyan. See, the film is going, it will go like this. It is playing on mid-range, and suddenly this scene took the, it went dark emotion. So my scenes which I had, because they were already shot, they had a problem.
Oh.
They had a problem because, you see, they were following this pattern, and so it went like this. Now the graph is here.
Right.
Now what do I do? My next scene is here and this scene is not fitting in,
Right.
So first time I realized that what do I do? It was a very big, it's a direction problem, scripting problem. And this I had not conceived. Because of Majru Sahab, though it went nice, the graph of the scene went zoop up.
Did you realize this at the shooting stage, scripting stage, or the editing stage?
No, editing stage. Once it happened, I said my next scene, most beautiful scene, fell through. It was not working after this graph. Then I realized that I need a neutral scene where nothing happens. I don't know whether I was right or wrong. But I realized that to bring the film back, I needed a ground. I can't come from here to here. So I need one neutral scene which does nothing.
Okay.
Which actually achieves nothing. But then it becomes a bridge back to where I am. So that scene I mean, patch-up shooting, normally we don't do patch-up, but that one scene I had to do it. Because that's the scene where after the Albela song, Satish Shah is going back home in the Jeep. That was one short scene. And he's telling Anna, I think you should think of Sunil, he's a nice boy. That's all. Less than 30 seconds scene. But that became a neutral scene as a bridge to go forward. I made one film called Three Sisters.
Yeah, I've seen it. I saw it at SNDT University. Lovely film. The challenge was it's shot in one room, Three Sisters in a few hours. Right?
One day.
Yes.
Really.
And the tragic story. Very, very
Yeah, but in the end, because I didn't want to, my purpose was not to show the tragedy. My purpose was to go beyond the tragedy.
Right.
And make a kind of an activist film. In a way, in the sense that one should face life. So then I went into a very exercise which nobody, there's a lot of controversy about the last scene where I freeze them as they're putting their noose around their neck. And then I show a contest, which I've introduced. They like one program on television. And now they appear in that program, which is a kind of a talent contest, where the death comes and asks them questions on dowry and all. Now I wanted to, because that was the most crucial scene for me, because that is what I'm trying to make the film. So even till today I don't know the personification of death. And probably I made a death too Western, or I should have made it Indian, because I thought even the moment I make him Yamraj, probably it would have worked. I think because the girls who belong to a small town, so in their mental thing, I made it a different kind of a thing. The costume I had given, so whether the costume was wrong, so it happens, this kind of thing. So I don't know whether the scripting device I took, but there again the inspiration was there. I knew that I had to. This is the more important content. Because so many times, many people have told me, you cut that portion. I said, if I cut it, then there is no meaning, there is no purpose behind making the film. This is the main purpose.
What do you want to say?
Okay, where the death comes and asks them a few questions. And they all related to this. And they answer so beautifully. The death gives them their life back, in a way. That is the significance. The next scene is not dramatically connected. How can we say while doing in a bicycle thieves, when they are looking for bicycle, they follow this old man, and why the film is taking us to the church, where he's after a free kind of, he's not, there is rich ladies who are offering, lunch or something, and he's after that, the arms. So why the film is taking us there, But this kind of scene, only happens when what you want to say becomes more important than how you are saying it.
Yeah.
You know, that what is dictating the how, instead of just the how of tensions between characters and things like that. That's, and then that's where it's very difficult to script. You see, it is not ABCD there, the scripting. There, I think a lot of intuition works. Because you know what you want to say, but you don't know how to say it. So your mind is working, and then suddenly a solution comes. So each scene is almost an intuitively arranged scene. But when it happens, you feel there is no other scene which could have replaced this scene. That's the problem. See, you don't get that scene. But till you intuitively arrive at that scene, it's very difficult to reach there. And then there is a kind of an organic flow. There is a kind of an organic flow like that. It's not that you are negating the standard way of scripting. You have to keep those elements, but then answer what is it? Answer the scripting solution comes from somewhere else. I don't know the.
Yeah, of course. Kya Kehna had a single mom as a protagonist, which was again quite different in those times.
Yeah, because I asked, the scriptwriter is Ani Irani. So I asked her that why she wants to become a mother, that she loves Saif. So they said no, because Saif has betrayed her, so she has ruled him out. At the point of interval, he comes back to her at the end of the film, but she has ruled him out at the interval when he walks out of her. She has ruled him out. Now she is deciding to have a baby. Now why she wants to have a baby? I need a logic to have a baby. So I asked her, and she was thinking, and I was thinking, and then Ranjit Kapoor was writing the dialogue. So he told me, Kundan, you read one book. There is one. You see how solutions come. That's it. And Kya Kehna read because of this. What I'm trying to say now. That he told me there is a reporter called Oriana Falaci. She is an Italian, and she has interviewed Indira Gandhi, extraordinary personality, Mao Zedong, everybody. So she went through a similar situation in her life, where in spite of being in Italy, in spite of being in such a what you call coveted position of an international reporter and respected everywhere, she was pregnant out of wedlock. And she started feeling ostracization, you see, even in Italy. So she had written a book, and she was also debating whether to have this child or not to have, and she had just decided when she went through a miscarriage. But she has written a book called Letter from a Child Never Born, or Letter to a Child Never Born, I think it is right, which my dialogue writer Ranjit Kapoor told me to read as a scripting solution. And in that, the same what I told you is there, and she is debating whether to have a child or not. She informs the man whose child it is, making it very clear that I'm not expecting anything, from you, but just informing you that I'm thinking of keeping the child. And he immediately writes back that I was not taking any responsibility, this, that. And finally she has a miscarriage. So the second half, so this is the first half of the book, and the second half is after she has a miscarriage, there's a court case on her, which is a surreal part of the book, in which one physician comes and her family physician comes and says, no, the miscarriage happened naturally. The other physician comes and says, no, because she was going through this dilemma and all that, probably she willed it and miscarriage happened, things like that. And also, she is probing all the aspects of all guilt or non-guilt through that imagined court case. At the end of which, the dead child comes. So, which was very nice. And the dead child comes and asks, what is my choice? You see, my choice is what? See, I am inside, so I don't have life. I am not born yet. So my choice is not life and death. My choice is life and nothingness. So, in a way, what the ethical way of looking at life, I mean, of course, we are going through a major population problem. But if you look ethically and morally, the child which has a right to come out in the world. Whether it is a prostitute child, whether the child is defective, life is life. It is superior to nothingness. There was a court case later on, recently also, where the couple went to court because they thought the child was some problem with the child which they were going to give birth to. They wanted termination. And the court refused. And she also went through a miscarriage. But I'm trying to, much after the film, this thing happened. So we took this incident and put it in the film. And everyone wanted to see, they talk about this particular thing. This particular 5-minute kind of an outburst of hers.
Yeah.
Where she goes through this, she makes herself in a way morally naked and says that what was my choice.
Yeah.
And that's why I decided to have a child.
And I've also noticed that you seem to like the idea of having this voice dialogue. I read an article by you where you've written about where you're kind of playing with yourself as a Joker villain, and you're having that dialogue going on in the mind.
That happened. That happened with everybody.
Yeah, of course, but it was put across very well.
Yeah, you have.
And the dilemma comes across in your movies.
No, you go, it happens all the time. Like today, something I read, it made me. I'm being honest. I read about this Rima Karti, Amir Khan film, and it's one thing is the problem is you don't want that film to be what you think it is. You want the film to surprise you, but you know where it is heading. You know where that film is heading and things like that. So you have this conversation, regarding anything, and especially when you're an underdog, you talk to anybody, anybody most of the time, anybody you can talk to. And I have written scenes also like that, where I didn't want a scene where my character is talking to Prime Minister, things like that. In the park, night, he's alone and he's having this conversation with Prime Minister. So whether it is comic or this or that, but that's how you get your frustrations out, and those frustrations then come into your, very comically, into the film.
Who are your major influences in terms of writing? Besides, I know your Kagas Ki Phool is your all-time favorite.
Yeah, it is favorite because it is a director's story and because it was said so well. I think there is a lot of beautifully scripted. No, you have inspirations from everywhere. See, you are. But what inspires you today, or what provokes you today? Provoking is coming from life.
I read about your the park that you have paid a tribute to Antonioni, the name of the park in that.
Yeah. No, because I had
that filmmaker also an influence on you?
No, I'll tell you what happened is I had a blow-up scene in my film. And it was crucial, It was an interval point, and I was playing it comically. I was not, and the second half was the same. But I knew that there is a film called Blow Up because I'm from the Film Institute, and I knew Antonioni had made it. And I purposely refrained from seeing it because it was so close to what I had done. Purposely I refrained. I said I don't want to get influenced, and which is not possible because I'm on a different genre. But I knew the critics will go for me, and they'll have a field day. ऐसे चोरी किया, ये किया, वो किया. So मैंने बोला मैं क्या करूँ? तो मैंने बोला अभी उसको एक वहाँ it was a very clever trick. So either you name the park after Antonioni, so you tell them, before they can, you admit before they attack you. That was the idea. But then it became an in-joke, it's kind of an in-joke. But I made it very clear that, I know it is there in that film, but my film has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it fits within this film. I thought he was an influencer in some kind of...
No, it just happened that we both had the same idea. I was doing it comically, he was doing it differently. But his film was different, mine was different.
Talking about comedies, what do you think about the comedies today and ever since Janvi Guyaro? I heard Mr. Rajkumar Hirani talking about how he would love to have a film which has got this immense recall value like Janvi Guyaro has had. and despite being in the 100 crore club,
you can't. That's
you
the
made a
problem.
7 lakh film which has got an immense recall value, and then there are these today's comedies which have a fabulous release in the weekend, but they do. What do you
No,
think
it
about
is.
that?
See, the intentions are very different. You can't make a film with Amir and have 100 crore and then make January or it's not possible. Well, Amir will not take the risk of talking with two guys in the same room. I mean, I don't mean that scene.
Yeah.
But they will not take, they will not cross that barrier. They will not say, okay, let's go and fail. Because they want to sell that. His problem is Shah Rukh. You see, he wants Shah Rukh is 150. I have to reach 150. So, and Raju Irani is the gun or the shoulder from which he's firing. So now it's caught in that logic. Let him make a film which is 7 crore, where if his fees are there, he'll definitely end up making a January. You cannot make. It cannot happen. You make. I'm not saying they don't have the talent, but the mindset is different. They should have a mindset where they should go on and make a 7 crore film, which includes Amir Khan scenes and everything. And they say we are making a film which is going to fail. Let them say that and make. Then it will work. Because now they are out to try everything with a total challenge to, at the most what, fail. But they will get into those kind of territories. Otherwise they won't get into those territories. They'll play always on those safe boundaries. Because they have to play with 100 crore, 150 crore with their image. You're breaking your image. You're saying, to hell with it. I'm not doing it. I'm not concerned. Yeah.
See, in those terms, you faced a challenge apparently with Nasiruddin Shah, from whatever I've read and heard, in terms of convincing of the lunacy of it all, and because he's a methodical actor. So every time you have to go on, convince them, get the mood right, and then get them to act. And besides that, he felt that you had a 500-page script, but still it did, of course, excite him. But and narrating is always difficult. So how do you overcome those challenges when you know that your script is going to work, but you can't really show it to them?
No, you show it to them.
I mean, not the script. I'm saying the visual of it all.
No, you can see. You have to see. The point is that if he fails, I fail in comedy. See, I'm not making a thriller. I'm not making. I can't tell my actor look left, look right, and then to put up in montage, give meaning to my visuals. Which is montage, that close-up of an actor, bread, he is hungry. Close-up of an actor, woman, he is lusty. You can't do that. Because I have to deliver comedy and I have to do it within the, dramaturgy of shot taking. So my actor has to deliver. You can't deliver a comedy where your actor, many directors say, or many producers say, कि तुम तो बहुत बड़े डायरेक्टर हो, तुम एक्टिंग करवा नहीं सकता। एक्टिंग आनी चाहिए, तो उसमें से एक्टर होना चाहिए, तो उसमें से आप एक्टिंग निकाल सकते हो। पर जब तक वो नहीं है, पोटेंशियल नहीं है, जब तक उसमें रॉ मटेरियल नहीं है, तब तक आप नहीं कर सकते। So whatever I say, I get quite impressed by Naseem now, because having not done comedy, he has put in a lot of effort everywhere. He has gone wrong. So have I. You see, there's no problem in going wrong. You've gone wrong in January so many times. Now we can't talk about it because it's a cult film, you see. But you go wrong because you are taking the risk. But when you're right, you're so damn right and you fly, then that's the payoff, you see.
No, what I was asking was about, when we talked about a big star not getting, today it's tough to convince because if the budgets are big, the risks are higher, it gets more and more.
No, you have to make it in lower. If you want to achieve this kind
of good comedy,
a good comedy, a good lunacy, a good this thing, anything good, let's put it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's all 100 crores. It's simple. If it is 100 crores, let's say one thing, it is not good. Let's put that also. Because it is good in
it goes against a storytelling also sometimes?
100%. It has to be. It has to be. 100 crores, matlab storytelling is coming down.
Okay. You also ventured right after January into Nukkad and Ye Jo Hai Zindagi. How was the experience there vis-a-vis films and television, in terms of both writing and direction?
The television basically is a very
Was it satisfying?
No, see, it's a talking medium. And it's confined to a fixed space because of sound. A fixed area. because you have to do sing sound. And I'm talking about 80s, which is now so film maybe like that. So you needed full, you have to shoot in studios most of the time. So it becomes a very teleplay. It's more like a teleplay. It's one set or two set maximum. You know, the scene, the screenplay gets limited that way, and basically you're conveying through that. So the content gets tailored to execute that. A. B. It has to be made within a number of days. For us, I mean, in cinema, I think if you can get 3 minutes edited in a day, it's damn good. You know, it is fantastic. So, 90-minute film is 30 days or 45 days, or even 2 minutes is damn good in 45 days, 90 minutes. Or 123 minutes, so 40 shifts is that, yeah. But here you have to take out 10 minutes, 20 minutes to now. Take one day, of course, 1.5 shift or 2 shifts or 3 shifts. In 2 days at least you have to take out 22 minutes of edited footage. So you can understand the whole thing, it has to be tailored for that. So television is definitely a different kind of experience. Unless you take it as a serialization and you shoot, you're not doing a serial, but you're doing a serialization, the way Tamas was done, the way other things are done. So then it's a very different. Plus television is the thing by which you are reaching everybody in the drawing room. It's a fantastic communication medium. Unfortunately, it is reduced to entertainment. With so many, 90% of channels giving you soap. You know, the wastage, the national wastage is happening. So, because everybody is repeating the same thing which is going around. So television, you can bring total revolution, you can bring communication, you can teach, you can educate, you can liberate, you can illuminate. Television is a communication medium, primarily, then entertainment medium.
Yeah.
But it is not done. It is not,
yeah.
It is not being used for it.
Yeah. So where do you see going yourself now, doing what, and we know that you've been planning your second film and the script is ready. The Janavi Duyaro Part 2, are you working on that or something else?
Because there are many projects.
Yes.
So you are trying to work it out. Because as I told you, see, because there is a lot of daringness in the subject, you need a very low budget. But low budget is also big, today. I mean, even if you make a film in anything between 2 to 4 crores, you need another 4 crores to promote it. So until you make an exceptional film, which I have to attempt, and there's only one weapon, my one Shah Rukh Khan is my comedy. I can win any battle through comedy, if I can make. I'm not saying I'll always be successful, but at least I have a weapon, and I can use it. Because if my comedy works, जो भी है 2 करोड़ 3 करोड़ 4 करोड़ वो रिकवर होने के chances ज़्यादा है. Plus comedy always is a long shelf life. You see, if it is correct, then it will DVDs will sell, it will be shown on satellite channels, things like that. So comedies have this advantage. So that is the thing. That's all I'm banking on.
So what would you advise writers when they are writing comedy? Because it is the most difficult genre amongst all.
No, if they are writing, it is geared now. See, writing, when you are writing, they are writing for a director, they are writing for somebody.
Or themselves also.
No, if they are themselves, so
which they will make.
They will make.
Like you
then I don't think it's a very poor. There's a quotation. And I want to go forward. The quotation of J. Krishnamurti. It's no sign of great health to be well adjusted to a sick society. So it's no sign of greatness if there's only one Janavi Duyaro. The point is that there are people who can make Janavi Duyaros. They are not getting opportunities. Mine is different, theirs can be very different. So they should do it. The problem is how to make themselves viable. That's a major problem. That's a major problem. Because Janavi Duyaro makes it more tough.
Of course.
But you can't, you have to get, commercially if the film has to be produced. Somebody has to put in money and all. So that, I think, we do get a lot of films today. At least, let's say, 2-3 releases, or 2 releases every week. So at least 100 films are being made which are of 2-3 crores, 2-3 crores, on an average. So and they're all risky propositions, including Gangs of Wasseypur, but they are well promoted, whatever, but they are risky propositions because the only content can fill up the audience, because there is no star value to it. So probably these films can get accepted, if you write your own comedy, if you believe in that. And you'll be damn funny, and you can be damn funny, there's no problem. And then because probably you'll get chance into this one of these producers who are making this 2 crore, 3 crore films and get an opportunity. But what is the process of writing that comedy is that it has to work. Comedy has to work. It has to relate to life. The more it relates to life, the better it is. So, these are his pluses, you see. Why when somebody comes, like, let's take a film like Chandni Bar. I went with my family and I was totally apprehensive that there will be something. But the film was so clean. And yet it made contact because it did talk of our life outside, you see, and people relate, They always, I think I saw Rajniti with audience, and one of the highlights, they always whistled when they were kissing and things like that and all. But one thing where they really, the film didn't do anything. Because now when they were seeing the image, they went into reality. Is when she dresses up as Sonia Gandhi or similar, and she doesn't do it, she makes an appearance, and the audience is just. So again, you are getting, because that film suddenly gives you a window to reality, the audience is on a different plane. So if your film can achieve that, then you're catching some truths around you and doing it comically, then it makes more. Whether it is love chow, chicken khorana or anything, but you need that extra to make it work. And I'm not talking, you have to be political, you have to be social, you have to be just honest, talented, and able to have a vision which is making things possible.
And hopefully be as intuitive as you.
Yeah, they have to be writers and they have to feel intuition will come. Intuition always comes. It can't be invited. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. How did you begin before you joined the FTI? What was going on?
No, you don't know. See, it is you don't know whether you're going to make it or not. But that's the risk you have to take. So, to cut it short, there was a kind of a restlessness. There was a basic restlessness and knowing that you are not going to reach anywhere in life. And you say, okay, so you are taking, you're taking a chance. 1 against 1,000, 1 against 1,000,000, and then it happens. So again, it's like that. I was fortunate that it happened. If it had not happened, what would have happened? Now I'm out of job since last so many years, but there are so many journalists with me, and yet I am out of job. So that risk you'll have to take. See and then what school you adopt. I had read a lot, most of it is pulp. Pulp taught me a lot, literature taught me a lot, life taught me most. So it all depends what textbook you make out of this thing and where you get inspiration from and what you do. And that will make you appreciate and make you give it. It's important to have strength to attempt. That's all. Failure, you should take it for granted. Then it becomes easier journey. The journey becomes much easier if you say at the most what. I've got a very funny producer. So sometimes he uses that. He says, "Oh, chalo na, wo star ke paas chalte hain. Zyada wo haan bol dega na." So it's a logic you have to use on that level. So, but that gives you strength. And that something keeps on kicking within you. That kick is very important. Something, that tells you, no, I am on the right path. I will make it. It's worth keep on attempting to make it. So that something which this thing is there, that makes the writer. That puts the writer in.
And what brought you to FTI? Did you have already always have this dream of films? Or
No,
what
I
was
used to
the
read a
involvement?
lot, and
Yeah.
that's all. So because I was reading a lot, I joined
You were a
publishing.
journalist for a while.
No, I was a journalist after doing FTI.
Oh, okay. Okay, but before
Everybody
that,
is a journalist to earn money. You were paid 200 rupees, that was big money that time for an article. So you used to write articles, this, that.
before FTI.
No, after FTI.
No, I'm saying what were you doing before?
Before FTI, I was, I had basically a restlessness. I used to read a lot, and I joined publishing, where my boss was extraordinarily nice. He told me, Kundan, reading books and selling books are two different things. I said, no, at least I'm near books, so I joined publishing. Then 4 years later, I tried FTI, on the blue. And I said, okay, 3 years of waste. I mean, life has been a waste so far. So 3 more years to it. Let's 3 more years. But work for it. Make work, So that work attitude made me write that first stupid film in the feature film in the institute. It gave me strength to attempt again. And it keeps on giving you strength even today. So that is very important. That's all.
Yeah, but were there any other influences, like you had some friend in the industry, or was there anyone in
No,
the
no,
family
no.
at all, or was there a family film buff or something?
No.
Nobody.
You yourself are a buff. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody is a buff.
Right.
In Bombay, what happens? There are no playgrounds. And so if you don't have playgrounds, what do you
Watch
do?
movies.
Watch movies. And that time watching movies was not, we didn't have television. So you would go to morning show. And it became a very nice, fragranted life, watching films. So it was that. Everybody is a film buff. In Bombay, because they would bunk schools, bunk days, and go and see films and all that. So that's the very average kind of life. But a restlessness to do something, to what is possible, how to do it, and that made it happen.
That's what drove you, and that's what drives you till now.
Yeah, and I get the film. Hopefully there is somebody. My new film will be sanctioned tomorrow, which I've conceived 17 years back. So it doesn't bother, and at least some 30-40 copies are in the industry. I'm not bothered that somebody will steal my scene, because it can't work. It won't work somewhere else. Even if they steal it, let them steal it, because my film will work on my strength.
Yeah.
So you have that you have that faith. You may fail. That's a separate thing. But having that faith and making it work is very